What if we told you there was a way to get paid $40 million per year to watch basketball? Well, that's exactly what Ben Simmons has been doing for the last 3 years. Since parting ways with Philadelphia, his career has only gone downhill.
Simmons, Claxton.
The talented point guard played a total of 57 games for Brooklyn, including only 15 this season. On March 7th, the Nets front office announced the news that his season was over and he would have to undergo another back surgery. There is no end in sight for the troubles with Ben Simmons, so it is completely logical to ask the question, is this the end of his story? Hello basketball fans and welcome back to Hoop Vision. We all remember Ben's unfortunate pass in Game 7 against the Hawks, after which everything started to go downhill.
To the basket.
Refusing to play for the Sixers the following season cost him over $10 million, setting an NBA fines record. Although his teammates tried to convince him to stay and move on from that poor playoff series, Ben's drama continued until the point of no return. He was traded to Brooklyn along with Seth Curry and several draft picks, while James Harden was sent to Philly to try to help Embiid complete the process. We all know how that ended. While Philly was happy to get rid of him and finally put an end to the Simmons saga, Brooklyn celebrated the arrival of a young, talented player with the potential to make a big three with Kyrie and Durant. However, 1 month after the trade, Ben was diagnosed with a herniated disc in his back, which prevented him from playing for his new team that season. There was hope he would make his debut in Game 4 against Boston, but that didn't happen. And as we know, the Celtics swept the Nets and broke up the Kyrie-Durant duo. In Ben's defense, the back surgery he underwent was not naive at all. According to medical professionals, herniated disc surgery is usually the last resort after trying other treatments such as anti-inflammatories, pain relievers, therapy, injections, and rest. There are several types of this injury, and each of them carries a unique set of challenges during the healing process. Simply speaking, there is a disc between each of the bones in the human spine. These discs act as shock absorbers and help cushion your bones. A herniated disc is one that extends beyond the capsule containing it and pushes into the spinal canal. A person can have a herniated disc anywhere along their spine, even in the neck, but it's most likely to occur in the lower back. The most common way to develop a herniated disc is from lifting something the wrong way or from suddenly twisting your spine. Other causes include being overweight and experiencing degeneration due to disease or aging. But in Ben's case, the most probable cause are long-term training errors. A herniated disc doesn't always cause pain or discomfort, but if it pushes against a nerve in your lower back, you may have pain in the back or legs. If a herniated disc occurs in your neck, you may have pain in your neck, shoulders, and arms. Besides pain, a herniated disc can lead to numbness, tingling, and weakness, which are all awful when you're trying to play basketball. Bearing in mind all this, it cannot be said that Ben had an easy road and that he did not have his fair share of suffering. However, the fact that he is making millions of dollars sitting on the bench calls into question his motivation and incentive to continue to do his best. In his short run with Brooklyn, he averages just around 7 points, 5 assists, and 8 rebounds per game. So the Nets will really have to think about their near future with Ben on their roster. Simmons is a 13% career three-point shooter, so if he didn't work on his shot while he had to prove himself as a player, what gives us the right to think he'll work even harder with millions in his bank account? Instagram videos from training sessions do not count, because every summer we are used to seeing the best version of Ben Simmons so far, only for him to end the season after a few games. This season he played only 15 games before the Nets pulled the plug. This time, the problem was nerve impingement in his lower back. Ever since Ben joined Brooklyn, every March has been marked by their announcements about his season-ending surgeries. His back problems cause frustration not only for the Nets franchise, but for all NBA fans who started following Ben precisely for his attractive style of play they have been denied for several seasons now. However, when it comes to back injuries, Ben is not a lone case. Another great player who had problems with a herniated disc injury is none other than Dwight Howard. Up until 2012, Howard was a force that was nearly impossible to stop under the basket. He recorded monster games with 40-plus points and 20-plus rebounds and was often compared to Shaq. However, after the back injury he suffered and the surgery that followed, Dwight was never the same. The time with the Lakers was additionally marked by a shoulder injury and tension with Kobe. So after only 1 year, he left the Lakers and began an experiment with James Harden in Houston. He did average 18 and 12, but there was no longer the godlike version of him we were used to seeing in Orlando. He bounced around Atlanta, Washington, and Charlotte, and almost a decade later, Dwight got his redemption with the Lakers and won the long-desired NBA championship ring. Although his story had a happy ending, after the injury, he was never the same player who dominated in the paint. So Ben Simmons has a good reason to worry if his fate becomes similar to Dwight's. However, there is one more recent positive example of how a good comeback can be made made after a back injury. Michael Porter Jr. is also someone who has been haunted by a lower back injury for years now. His first surgery happened in 2017, while he was still a college player. Health was one of the reasons why he was not drafted among the first ones, but went to Denver as the 14th pick. During his first season with the Nuggets, MPJ had another back surgery that was supposed to solve his problem permanently and relieve him of the pain he had been suffering for months. After returning to the court, he recorded a significant improvement, which confirmed to Denver that they made a good decision in the draft and that it was worth waiting for his full recovery. Unfortunately, the very next 21 and 22 season, he suffered another injury and played in only 9 games. For several seasons, Denver entered the playoffs young and incomplete because in addition to MPJ, Jamal Murray was recovering from an ACL injury. Once everyone was fully fit and healthy, everything clicked, resulting in a title at the end of a 22-23 season in which Michael Porter Jr. played 61 regular season games and all 20 in the postseason. As we can see, a player's career after a back injury can start in both directions. It is up to Ben to find the internal motivation to work hard and strengthen his body through work so that injuries will not be a big factor in his future. Even if he lost his passion for basketball, the inability to play will certainly cost him financially because no organization will offer a big contract to a player whose body is unreliable. Ben's talent is enormous, and his potential is one of the most underutilized in the new generation. If he had never been injured, the question is how would he have fit in with Kyrie and Durant, and would this team break up? Maybe they would already have one ring together, which would make the NBA landscape completely different. If Ben returns healthy next season, it will be the last year of his contract in which he is guaranteed $40 million, after which he'll become an unrestricted free agent. If he fully heals his injury and continues his career at the level he played with the Sixers, maybe Brooklyn will dare to offer him an extension and build around him for the next 5 years. However, if the story continues as before, they will probably, like his previous team, be eager to get rid of him as soon as possible. Whether Ben comes back 100% fit is up to him. Back injuries can be complicated, but its relationship to the recovery process will be the most significant part. How much time and work he will invest in individual training, back muscle strengthening routines, massages, and other therapies. All of this is under Ben's control, and we hope he will do everything right, because it will be a real shame if the basketball world was denied such a player. Of course, a return in better shape would also mean the interest of other teams, which would make the summer of 2025 a more than entertaining period for following NBA events. The big question is, which franchise would benefit the most from Ben's game? Because many more factors are in play when it comes to what kind of season he will have. A big role in the career of Ben Simmons was played by the mental aspect, starting with the aftermath of embarrassment against the Hawks, leaving his teammates, and the most recent injuries. Who knows what the NBA would look like today if Ben had been more mature and moved on after the series against Atlanta. Maybe he and Joel would finish the process and leave that unfortunate Game 7 far behind in history. Unfortunately, Simmons did the exact opposite of what he should have done, and now he's in a strange position that doesn't provide a clear insight into how he could revive his career. If Ben Simmons is really done, then his NBA journey should be an example for younger players of how not to manage their careers, and that they should never buy into their own hype, but work humble and learn how to ride it out when things get tough instead of switching teams every time something unpleasant happens. And that's it for today, dear friends. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Let us know in the comments below what you think of Ben's career so far, his comeback chances, and how far could he take the Nets next year. Thank you for watching and growing this channel. Make sure you don't miss out on more NBA stories by hitting that subscribe button. See you in the next one.